Hello YouTube. So look like crap right now, a little dirty. Just did a clutch in that ZHP behind me. Nope, not my car. I wish, but you know, I don't need any more. My Hellrock car is still dead to the world. So gotta fix that first. But did a clutch in that ZHP for a buddy. It was doing some weird stuff. Thought it was the clutch. Wasn't necessarily the clutch. It was in there though. Didn't take transmission off for no reason. I'll be showing you guys. This video is more of to help you guys that have a 6-speed and a later E46 330 or a 330 ZHP, because I'm sure some of you guys want to turbo it, but you don't know what clutch kit to go with. And that's what we're going to show. It's going to be putting a 5-speed clutch kit in a 6-speed car. So that'll save you guys some money, and hopefully it helps someone out. It's really easy, really straightforward, and a ton cheaper. So I'll go ahead and show you the car some, and then show you guys what I did to put the 5-speed clutch and the 6-speed transmission. Driveway is looking killer right now. We got the S52 turbo coupe, we got the supercharged ZHP we're doing a clutch on this video, we got the OG Hellrock car in the back for dead, and we got the luxury clapper 740. Here's the ZHP I'm working on today. It actually has an ESS tuning twin screw in it. Feels amazing. It's way better than the Vortex superchargers or whatever the other brands are that are non-intercooled and just sit right here and use stock manifold. Those are terrible. I'm gonna be honest. Those things just feel like a healthy B30 with good Vanos, if you want me to be honest. But this car also has beautiful BBS wheels on it. Way nicer than, you know, my clappers have. I got the Empars and I got the Apex wheels on the blue car. Here's the 6-speed. Anyone with the ZHP or later model 330, you're probably familiar with these. And you know that finding a clutch for these that is gonna hold power or not just a stock style clutch is kind of expensive and kind of difficult. So this is the point of this video. I'm not just making a whole video on how to install a clutch on E46. It's how to put a clutch in these for a budget in a 6-speed that us 5-speed guys get pretty lucky with. This is the main thing here. Jules at B Racing, actually you can go on his website and he will sell a kit that comes with the stuff to do a 6-speed 5-speed swap, however you want to say that, 6-speed 5-speed clutch swap. But this is your main piece here. This goes into the crank where your 5-speed pilot bearing would go, and it extends it out to allow you to run a 5-speed pilot bearing out here to use a 5-speed single mass. So if you buy these clutch kits, these Clutch Max kits, you always want to get the 6-puck style ones. They have various kinds. You don't want to get the stock style one that's not a 6-puck because, well, I've watched those like delaminate. This is what usually would come with your $300 clutch kit, your Clutch Max kit for a 5-speed. You can see the splines difference, and then here is the correct splines for the 6-speed. That's the main stuff here. And if you buy the kit from Jules, he'll send you everything. And heck, he might even hook you up, man. Look at these. That's my Hellrock car. And then here is my coupe. And he has some really cool stickers as well. So I've been meaning to post this stuff so you guys can buy it. This car has a wonderful JBR single mass flywheel on it. Only thing is the pilot, which is part of your flywheel, possibly could be replaced. I don't really know if you can buy just the pilot bearings. I'm sure you can get a custom bearing or have it machined for whatever you want, but in this situation we're replacing everything. You can see this pilot bearing is destroyed and it will not spin. So this car would not move. You could not put it in gear because this pilot bearing was turning the input shaft of the transmission even when you had the clutch pedal in. So it acted as if the clutch was engaged the whole time, even though it was not. But I'll be removing this
and you can see they just use a stock style clutch on it, which everything looks in great shape. Unfortunately, this was the last of my guesses of why this car was doing what it was doing. So if anything here, there's part of the pilot bearing. The seal fell out of it too. But if anything here, this car will be able to take a lot more power with the 6-puck in it. So we're gonna go ahead and get this off, and I'll show you some of the other parts. And I'm sorry if the wind noise is destroying the video. Well, this may just be the cleanest M54 I've ever touched. Oil pan, no oil on it. Rear main seal, not even leaking. I think we're going to do the rear main on it though, because you should if you're in here. It's a little wet here and there. So it's scary to even touch that because of how well it's sealing right now. I haven't had really issues with failing on installing new ones, but there's always that risk there. But I'm just admiring how clean this is. Now, if you look at my shirt, taking off this flywheel, a ton of clutch dust came out of it, and it was really on there too. I was surprised by that, not sure why, but I'm sure that bearing has got really hot, and I need to check the input shaft with a new pilot on it and make sure that it is still okay. You can see here where the input shaft was spinning in the bearing. I can't really feel it with my fingers. Luckily, he stopped driving it pretty early when he first noticed issues. It got hot, you can tell. But a new bearing here, OEM bearing, yeah, it slides on there solid. It's not like just sloppy and destroyed. But if you really wanted to fix this problem, well, you'd either trash your 6-speed transmission, but who's gonna do that? Or you'd rebuild it and put an input shaft in it. But that's not what we're doing right now. This will probably go another 150,000 miles. As long as it has a good bearing and spins free, unlike the other one, it's gonna be totally fine. So, time to move on here to some other stuff. New clutch fork. They're too cheap not just to replace. Let me see what this one looks like. Okay, yeah, you can see that. The shiny divots in them from the wear. And then obviously you always want to do a new pivot bearing. I think that's what they're called. It's more like a bushing, but I always go OEM on that. If you watch my past videos, the brass ones smash too fast and the steel ones will wear out your fork. I don't know how long that would take, so don't kill me over that, because some people's got really upset over that comment. But the OEM one's the way to go. Obviously, new exhaust gaskets, new flex disc always, new rear main seal, OEM throwout bearing. This kit does come with one. That's totally up to you. Depends on your budget. You can use it, it'll work fine, I guess. But going OEM on that. And then another thing to worry about is, well, these kits don't always have the right flywheel bolts, but most of the time I reuse, yeah, I said it, I reuse the original ones with new Loctite on them. I know BMW says don't reuse any of the bolts on the car more than once because they'll stretch. If you're telling me you replace every bolt on this car when you do a job, congratulations, I guess. I do not do that, because this stuff gets expensive if you price BMW hardware. So most of it can be reused. I've never had an issue. So here is a 6-speed flywheel with the bearing as part of it. Here's a 5-speed flywheel. And then this here will go in there and act as this and position this far enough away from the crank like this does. It's getting too windy to record, of course. Old rear main was a little brittle, as you can tell. I don't know how it wasn't leaking, but have a new one and have the new gasket for the back of the rear main housing. And you always want to make sure to clean up. This was factory, as you can tell, it has that factory RTV on it. Clean that up, put new RTV on the bottom only, and you're set. This is clean. Man, this is crazy. I don't even know how my hands are getting dirty, and none of this is dirty. New rear main is in, looks great. Nothing went wrong. Just make sure when you install your new seal into the housing, you go flush like factory. Here is the adapter. The idea of this is it's going to press fit, nearly press fit into your crank hub. So you want to use a mallet or a piece of wood and a hammer, and you will want to bottom this out into your crank hub, and then you will put your new pilot bearing in the other side, and that's all you got to do. And then after you do this, you can run 5-speed clutches as long as you have the correct clutch plate made for the splines on the 6-speed. So I'm going to go ahead and get this knocked in there. It's pretty simple. It's really simple. This is a lifesaver and saves you a lot of money. All right, so there's the adapter in. You want to make sure it's flush when you install it. The last one I installed went a little easier than this, not gonna lie. But you just want to use either, I would avoid putting a socket on this because I think it's billet. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's billet. I don't know. Maybe not. Might be wrong on that. Might just be steel. I probably should have checked that before even bringing that up. But then you pop in your new pilot bearing, so now it offsets it like it would on a 6-speed flywheel. Okay, so here is the flywheel bolt that was on the old JBR flywheel, and here's one that came with this new clutch kit. They both are grade 10.9, so that's good. If you look here, comparing them through the new flywheel, you're going to, well, if I can get a good example for you guys, notice that the old ones are a lot longer and the new ones stick through plenty, so I will be using the new ones. Just showing you guys this because I have PTSD from like 3 years ago. I used too long of flywheel bolts and they pressed up against the crank and the engine wouldn't rotate. So I'm just admitting my mistakes. I've learned my lesson from then, and I had to take the whole transmission and everything back off the car before I realized it. So disregard earlier saying that these are wrong sometimes. They might have it right now. So a lot of you guys watching this video, this may be why you're here. How do you install an eBay clutch plate? Well, what I've learned is the part that sticks out, you see how where your shaft slides through sticks out on this end, and this end it does not. Well, if you put this on with this facing the transmission, the part that sticks out, you'll notice it's gonna butt up against the throwout bearing sleeve. So obviously, when your car's running, your input shaft is spinning, your sleeve does not spin, the sleeve that your throwout bearing rides on. So it'll friction weld that straight to the sleeve, and you're gonna have the worst day of your life trying to get your transmission back off. So this doesn't apply to all clutch kits. These are just these eBay kits that I've noticed that on. There's a few things like you can check if you don't have this kit is once you have your flywheel bolted up and your flywheel bolts in there, some of these, like the stock one, we'll go look at the stock one. Some of your clutch plates will look like this, or clutch discs, and they'll have this big area that's sprung like a stock style. Now, if you were to go put this on a flywheel, you'll notice one way it might hit the bolts, so you'll flip it the other way. That's the best way to know on these. But with the style like this that are flat and just have that part sticking out, you want to put that towards the engine because you don't want any extra on the back side where it can get up against your throwout bearing tube. All right, so I'll show you a better demonstration here. This is a side where it sticks out, this side it does not, and you'll see the furthest point here is where this pilot bearing is. And now on a 5-speed it'll be a little different. The pilot bearing will be deeper in the flywheel, so the only thing that's going to stick out the furthest is your bolts. But on this clutch plate you don't have that big sprung area on here to worry about. So if you put this on with the side that sticks out the most towards the engine, towards the flywheel, you'll notice there's plenty of room in there. It's not going to hit anything and friction weld to anything, and you don't have anything to worry about. So that means the side that doesn't stick out near as much will also have plenty of clearance and will not weld itself to the transmission. And I know I'm talking a lot on this, but this is the most important part about these eBay clutches because they don't say on the disc. Clutch is all bolted up, pilot bearings where it needs to be. I'm gonna go ahead and get this transmission on, and that'll probably be the end of this video.
Transmission's in, everything bolted up perfectly, no issues with lining up the transmission with this 5-speed clutch kit. And I think that's a wrap. Thanks for watching, guys. I know this isn't like my normal videos. This is more of just to show the people who are looking for 6-speed stuff. It was kind of a tutorial, kind of not. I don't know how to explain it because I didn't show everything. I just showed what you needed and how it works. But I appreciate all the people still watching my videos. Thank you so much on 10,000 plus followers. That's crazy because I don't even upload that much, and I plan to keep uploading. It just won't be weekly or anything like that.